Okay, I am checking the mail because my book is here! Hey, I'm Erin. I'm a mama, a health coach, a home herbalist, and an author. Welcome to my channel where we'll explore the realms of simple medicine making, earth-based living, health, and self-love. Hey friends, I am at the beach in my car. I haven't made a vlog video in a while. I shared so many of the things that I'm really excited about that I'm currently creating. There's actually one other thing in progress that I haven't shared about yet that I'm really excited about. But oh my gosh, things are just taking a lot longer than they did before I had a baby. I'm somebody who has just so much creative energy and so many ideas, so many podcast episodes I want to record for you guys, so many videos I want to make. This year I was like, oh, my word is energy, and I was all excited to have all this energy and do all these things, and I still want that. But I'm realizing that my word for this year is slow, and that is really challenging for me because I am someone who I like to move fast. It is such a deep practice for me to be present with where I am in my life, to be present with the moments that are happening, to go slow in creating and take my time and use little bits of time that I have to build something versus feel like I need to jump into it and do it all at once. That's kind of how I typically want to work, but my mind wants to work that way, but my life and my energy is not supporting that way of being anymore. And I know it's because I really need and have needed for a while to learn how to slow down, and having a baby really forces you to slow down whether you want to or not. At least that's been my experience. So I hope you're doing well. Hi friends, welcome back to this crazy book writing journey. Last I talked to you guys, I think it was February, and I was just at the beginning of the book writing process. Oh my gosh, remember how I said my lesson is to learn how to slow down? Yeah. There are so many different pieces of writing a book I never really appreciated until now, and I'm just noticing myself trying to speed through all of these different parts. The writing of the book, which is a whole thing in and of itself because obviously I have a baby. Then it has to be edited. There's multiple different kinds of book editing. There's multiple different people that need to be hired to do this editing. And then there's the formatting process, which when you see the book and you see all the recipes and you see the graphics, little bullets, and there's different fonts and different headers, and we don't think about these things when we see them. There's just so many different parts, and the formatting is this entire beast of a thing. I was like, oh, the formatting, it'll be done in a week. Yeah, no. It's just such an interesting journey for me to, instead of, again, focusing on the end result and like, I'll be happy when I get to this end result, really focusing on being happy in the process and enjoying the process as it goes and enjoying the day-to-day of creating something versus feeling like, oh, well, I'll be happy when it's all done. I think that's something that we do in life a lot, is like, oh, I'll be happy when I get to this point, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna just like enjoy the process and I'm gonna enjoy the journey now, instead of rushing to some end point that doesn't exist. I'm gonna get back to writing right now. Take my aggression out on this thing. checking the mail because my book is here. I don't think I've talked about it on my YouTube channel yet, but I wrote an herbalism book. If you follow me on my podcast or if you've been around on my channel here, you know that I talk a lot about making herbalism super easy, super accessible, literally just going to your grocery store or your spice cabinet or your tea cabinet and pulling out herbs and making herbal medicine with those herbs. Things like garlic, rosemary, thyme, honey, and lemon. Anyways, so I wrote a book and it is a guide to making medicine with herbs from your grocery store. And it has arrived. Wow, this is so wild. This is my book. It's called Beginner Herbalism Made Easy, a guide for making medicine with herbs from the grocery store. This is the front cover that my husband and I designed. Here's the back with my face. Oh my gosh, this is so wild. This has been such a labor of love. I've been working on this. Well, the idea and the intention for making it came at the beginning of the year in January, actually. And then I started learning about how to do it and actually writing it, going through all the processes of getting it edited. I even hired an herbal editor, Caitlin Wolf, who is awesome. I highly recommend that you follow her. I'll put her information in the description. She's a mama of two and she's a clinical herbalist. She's a holistic health coach like myself. I hired her to go through the whole book and just make sure that everything was correct. You know, I am very openly not a professional herbalist. I am a home herbalist. I'm a kitchen herbalist. And so everything that I know is just self-taught from just playing and experiencing and growing up around natural medicine and having my own healing experiences. So I hired her to just make sure everything in the book was correct, to help me fill in a lot of the gaps. Like I maybe wanted a specific recipe, but I wanted to hire somebody who just like really knew how to make it great. Her wisdom is woven deeply through this book. And there are just so many amazing recipes in here. Oh my gosh, I'm just so proud. So I'll just tell you a little bit about it since we're here. So you can buy it on Amazon, by the way. You can buy it in Kindle format or you can buy it in paperback format. I personally much prefer to have recipe books and educational books in paperback format. For me, Kindle is more about like reading fiction. Like I just blast through fiction and I don't want a million like fiction books on my bookshelves. I want books on my bookshelves that I can reference, that I can highlight and check back things. And like for me, physical books are more educational. My husband and I designed this herbal graphic with all these herbal illustrations, images. And you know, there's like little herb graphics at the start of each chapter. I have a section where I welcome you, where I talk about my own personal story. I talk a little bit about holistic health. I want people to have a holistic context when they read this book and really understand that your health isn't just about, oh, I'm taking this herb and it's supposed to fix everything. Like herbs are just one piece of the larger puzzle that is your life. And there's so many different things that make up that puzzle when it comes to your health, like, you know, your relationships and your work and your home life and your creativity and your spirituality. It's like all of those things are part of our health. We can't just like eat healthy and work out, but then have like really dysfunctional, abusive relationships and expect to be healthy, you know, for example. So I talk about holistic health in this chapter. There are some journal prompts in here. I talk about self-responsibility and how important that is when you're trying to just become more sovereign in your health decisions. I talk about how we're all natural born herbalists. I talk about how to get started if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're not really sure what herbs to start with or where to begin your herbal journey. And there's just so much more in here. I talk about supplies. I talk about 20 herbs you can find in your grocery store. I have an herbal actions glossary. So herbal actions are the words that you'll see when you see an herb described, like for example, adaptogen, antibacterial, antifungal, antispasmodic, things like that, that explain what the herb actually does. So those are called herbal actions. So there's a whole glossary in here from A to Z. To be honest, I wrote this for you, absolutely, but I also wrote it knowing that I was going to use it as a reference in my own kitchen and in my own home. So I also wrote it for me. And I really love having a list of herbal actions on hand, because anytime I am learning about an herb, I really love to know, to have like a place where I can find the definitions of herbal actions. So I find this super helpful. And then I go into chapters 1 through 12, where I teach you about how to make all these different types of medicine. Chapter 1 is about teas and infusions, which is just such a great place to start, because if you can understand and make teas and infusions, which anybody can, you can make many other types of medicines. Then in chapter 2, I talk about herbal lattes, which is one of my very favorite ways to enjoy herbs, and is a really great way to get like a protein boost throughout your day. It's a great way to maybe replace coffee, or make yourself a delicious herbal drink in the morning or any time of day, really. So I have some recipes in there for that. I talk about herbal steaming, so you can make respiratory steams for your respiratory system, like your sinuses, your throat. You can make facial steams for your skin. And then for women, you can do yoni steams for your vagina, which is amazing for postpartum healing, vaginal healing, yeast infections, things like that. Chapter 4 is about herbal honey. So that is all about blending up herbs, basically powdering herbs and adding them to your honey. Chapter 5 is oxymels. So oxymels is taking herbs and infusing it in apple cider vinegar and honey. So it's another awesome way to use honey. Herbal infused oils, chapter 6. So if you've been on my YouTube channel or my podcast, you know I love herbal infused oils. It's my favorite way to use herbs. I mean, I would say top 3 favorite way. So I talk about how to make herbal infused oils in here. I talk about how to make a really, really simple version. And then I talk about how to make a more concentrated medicinal strength oil. I love salves, body butters, and lip balms. Another of my favorite way to take herbal infused oils and make something a little bit thicker, a little bit richer, a little bit creamier. So great. So many uses for those. They're great gifts. Chapter 8 is about herbal baths and foot soaks. So you can take herbs and make basically a strong tea and pour that into your bath, or make a foot soak. These are great ways to support the immune system, to cool the body down, to warm the body up. Just a great way to support eczema, the skin, reduce a fever, or just enjoy the beauty and healing powers of herbs. So there's some different recipes in there for baths and foot soaks. Chapter 9, we talk about herbal hair care, which is another great thing, like healing the scalp, using apple cider vinegar, using flax seeds, using teas, using oils. Chapter 10, we get into broth. So making vegetable broth, making bone broth, and making them herbal. Chapter 11 is one of my favorites. So chapter 11 is culinary herbalism. And this is just like simply taking herbs and infusing them into just regular food. It's like you can enhance the medicinal and healing properties and health properties of the food that you're already eating by intentionally adding things like garlic, ginger, chamomile, lavender, thyme, sage, rosemary, and on and on and on. In this chapter, the culinary herbalism chapter, I have some herbed butter, I have some garlic and herb chicken, the ginger and turmeric fried rice in this book. Oh my god, it's so freaking good. Caitlin Wolf, She created that one for me. There's a green goddess salad dressing, some marinades, homemade marshmallows, which are fun, immune fortifying pesto, lavender shortbread cookies. This is one of my very, very, very favorite recipes in the whole book. I love these cookies. They're so good. You can make them gluten-free, you can make them regular, you can make them dairy-free. Strawberry chamomile muffins, chimichurri. And then chapter 12 is other natural remedies to have in your toolkit. So I do have some other awesome natural remedies up my sleeve that I use that I wanted to include in the book. One of my very favorites is an apple cider vinegar throat rinse for strep throat. And it has kicked my strep throat every time I've had it, or like anytime I feel a throat cold coming on, I use this recipe and I absolutely swear by it. So I really wanted to include it in the book. There's also some elderberry syrup, fire cider, elderberry syrup gummies, and then there's a little conclusion, and there's some other additional herbal resources if you want to buy herbs in bulk, if you want to like take herbal classes. I have a whole section on online herbal education, pre-made quality herbal medicine if you want to explore medicine makers that are making great medicines. Lots of links and information in here about where you can go and find all of that. So anyways, that's the book. Look at it. It's about 200 pages. I'm so proud of it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that it supports you, and I know that if you have been really resonant with this message on my YouTube channel and on my podcast, this is the literal physical book for you to have all of that information in your home, in your kitchen, and easily use it and reference it. And for you to just feel like you're having fun and like it's easy to make herbal medicine. And like with this book, it's like, duh, you are an herbalist. This is just what I consider to be the guide for basic herbal medicine. I also created 2 blank journals that are companion journals for the book, that if you want like a blank journal to create your own recipes, I really suggest either getting one of my journal companions or just finding yourself a blank journal to track when you make recipes, because you're gonna play around, you're gonna try different things, and my experience is that when you write down what you did, you'll be able to recreate it. I've done this so many times where I've made a recipe, I've tweaked something a little bit, and I'm like, that was amazing, I loved that. When I go back to do it again, I have no idea how I did it, and that is so frustrating. So I really recommend finding yourself some sort of blank journal, whether it's one of mine or it's just a journal that you have around the house, or whether it's the notes app on your phone, finding a way to track the recipes and the things that you're doing on your herbalism journey so that you can recreate stuff. And so in here you'll see I have like this journal belongs to with like a little calendula flower, and then on the bottom pages here you'll see in really light, you'll see the little graphics that are actually from the book. So that's a calendula flower. Here we have chamomile. Here we have sage. Yay! I'm so excited. Thank you so much for watching, friends. And I look forward to creating more awesome goodness for you. To enter yourself in to win a free copy of my book, comment down below what is your favorite herb to work with, or what is an herb that you're really excited to learn more about. I will respond in the comments to the 2 people that have won, and I will send that to you in the mail. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through and for celebrating this with me. I'm going to have all the information to check out the book in paperback and Kindle below, and I'll see you in the next video, friends.